Okay, let's talk about the Andy Reid scheme here, what the Chiefs like to do, and why it can be so effective. I'm going to go with one chart real quick before we get into the film. This is that chart, which these are where Patrick Mahomes ranks in specific categories according to how far he's throwing down the field. So you see all the way over to the left, that is 20 plus yards down the field, 0 to 19, 0 to 9, and then behind the line of scrimmage. Percentage is the first column where you see this is where he ranks, so how high of a percentage it is, the lower the ranking. So behind the line of scrimmage, they throw the third most passes there. Meanwhile, 20 plus yards down the field, Mahomes is 39th. There's only a couple quarterbacks who throw 20 yards down the field less than him, despite the fact that he's known for his cannon of an arm, interestingly enough. For PFF grades, he's mostly solid regardless. Definitely he's at his worst when he's throwing down the field, but he's definitely at his best when he's throwing behind the line of scrimmage and 0 to 9. At least that's what PFF grades would say. Obviously, those aren't everyone's cup of tea, so I put on passer rating as well, and you see the passer rating stats are just not good when they throw down the field. 37th, so it's usually not Mahomes' fault according to PFF. It's usually just the players down the field. They still really don't have a great deep threat. Xavier Worthy does a lot of nice things, hasn't really been that for them. Hopkins every now and then, but hasn't really been that for them either, so that's something to note. But again, everything below, it's from solid to very good, right? So, okay, those are some numbers, but you can kind of actually tell that when you watch the film. Let's watch some film and talk about really what they want to do, and I'm also going to compare this to what they will do in the Super Bowl. In fact, the coverage you see on your screen, quarters coverage, is something that Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator for the Eagles, loves to run. The Chiefs just have so many ways to beat this, and it's really kind of clever how they do it. So let's get into it. So that's the route that Mahomes is going to want to throw to, Hollywood Brown's route. And you might be thinking, okay, that doesn't seem like a great route, right? Shouldn't there be a Bills player right in the area to tackle him or get the ball, perhaps? Well, first, what they're going to do is have Xavier Worthy run a route just getting towards the sideline. That's going to take the other Bills player out of the area, right? He's not really directly involved with Marquise Brown right here, but he kind of could be. So they're going to run this route to take him out of position. And then they're going to run a play action to get the linebackers to move in. That's how they're going to essentially clear out that area and create a window for Mahomes to be able to throw into. Watch. Mahomes takes a snap. He runs this play action and kind of in one motion is now throwing. And you see Marquise Brown is open. Mahomes hits him, and that's a 5 yards average depth of target play that picks up more than that, and they're able to pick up a first down. Again, it's simple enough, right? And when you're watching live, you might be saying, okay, little dink and dunk pass, whatever, but it just goes to show how much little things go into this. This is what the Chiefs want to do. Of course, it can create some explosives sometimes. This play is a 2nd down and 7, essentially doing a similar thing, having Juju Smith-Schuster run over the middle and a play action to hopefully bring the linebackers in. And as you see when this begins, it's tough. You see the Bills players are out of position. You can't get that fooled, and that's essentially what this comes down to is the linebackers for the Eagles, and the good news is they have some really good ones, specifically one really good one, an all-pro in Zach Bond, going to have to not get beat by this. If you get beat by this, the Chiefs will take advantage, and in many ways, Zach Bond could be the key to this whole game. Also, you're going to see that Smith-Schuster makes Damar Hamlin miss. He picks up a lot more yards. Can't let that happen either if you're Philadelphia. Got to make sure you make your tackles, but that goes for every team in every situation, right? But this is what the Chiefs like to do a lot. But now we got to go over here. We got to talk about the ground game, right? Because this only really works if you can at least run the ball to some degree. You have to have some success running the ball, or the linebackers aren't going to get as fooled. I know there's some numbers that contradict that, but it logically makes sense that if you're going to run the ball a lot like the Chiefs are, you want to make sure that you can create these situations where maybe you'll run it, maybe you'll throw it. So essentially, they're going to want to be able to run the ball effectively. Well, the Andy Reid, and I'll throw Matt Nagy in there, he is part of it, that scheme has to work, right? So they have to be able to run the ball. They don't just stop in the passing game with their creativity, though. Look at this concept right here, where they're going to have 2 tight ends in the backfield, both run out towards the right. Then they're going to pull their left guard and left tackle and run towards the left. Which direction are they actually going to be running the ball in on this play? Exactly. You don't know. And that's exactly what they're trying to do, is the Bills can't really tell and the only way they can do it is watch the ball carrier. As you see, enough players move towards the right that when Kareem Hunt has the ball towards the left, you're going to see that, this play has worked. They've gained 4 yards or so. That's all you need. You want more, but that's all you need. And also, I got to give credit to Kareem Hunt. He's played well this year. As you see, he breaks a tackle. Listen, I know he kind of joined the team as I guess we'll throw Kareem Hunt in here and see what can happen, but he's essentially won the starting job. He's played well. So yes, they should be able to run the ball at least effectively enough to do these other plays. Now, it's Philadelphia. They're a different animal, but it just goes to show the creativity that this Eagles team has. The creativity that this Chiefs team has. There's also the other side of things, which is what if you might say, okay, well, what if we just don't play zone coverage? Like this one, for example, this is going to be a man coverage play. The Chiefs have an answer for that as well, and they will always have motion so they can kind of tell, okay, is this man or is this zone? You can try and disguise that, but it's really hard to do so. So here, the Chiefs know it's man. They have a concept to beat man coverage, which is a pick play, and you got to have an answer for pick plays if you're playing against the Kansas City Chiefs. Because watch how on this play, this is a great one. I broke this down in a different video. It was the end of game video I made of Mahomes' end of game situation. But you see how Kelsey's running this pick play. Because he can't just run into the Bills player. That's a penalty, and you'll get called for it. So what he's instead doing is he's essentially using Damar Hamlin as the pick, the guy who's supposed to be covering him. He sees where Damar Hamlin is in relation to himself and is essentially using that part as the pick. Because of that, the 2 Bills players run into each other, and now you have Xavier Worthy wide open. They're able to pick up a big gain. So essentially, whatever coverage you run, it feels like the Chiefs have an answer for it, which is why things are so tricky and why they're so difficult to stop. So, okay, for Philadelphia, how do you potentially beat this? Well, one thing is you hope the Chiefs beat themselves. Well, wait a second. The Chiefs never beat themselves. Wrong. The Chiefs are made up of humans. They might make less mistakes, but that does not mean 0 mistakes. This game, for example, you see that Mahomes is going to just screw up this snap with Isaiah Pacheco. The Bills were able to fall on the fumble. Again, got to take advantage of the opportunities when they arise. You will get some opportunities in this game. And for the Chiefs who run these long possession drives or long play, drives of many plays, there's more opportunities for things to go wrong. That's part one. You kind of can't control that too much. You can, hit the ball every time that you have a chance. That the Eagles will do that, try to get some fumbles, but that's a part of it. You can get some mistakes, you can get some penalties, things like that. The other thing, I wanted to, find some tape of a defense that was able to play well against the Chiefs, and one that came to mind was the Raiders, who always seemingly have a good strategy for Mahomes. Well, one of those things is they can just get pressure on Mahomes. This is the way you can slow him down. Granted, this is a 3rd down and 10, so it's a little different, but still. Watch as, and it's also against offensive lineman who will no longer be playing. He's not playing in the Super Bowl, but you see how there is that immediate pressure right there. If you can get some sacks on Mahomes, if it's 1st and 10 and you make it 2nd and 17, or maybe just get a holding penalty, you get them out of this area where they can kind of scheme stuff up. You force them into obvious passing situations. Easier said than done, and Mahomes can still find ways out of the, he can still play in obvious passing situations, of course. But then you can see something like this, what the Raiders did, where they would maybe get a sack, and now you have this situation. The Chiefs get some yards back, but it's a 3rd down and 4. They don't really want to run the ball here, so they're going to actually send her back out wide. Let's just try and throw one-on-one to DeAndre Hopkins, right? Let's see if we can win in this situation. And as you see here, Hopkins not able to win. Raiders able to get the stop there, hold the Chiefs to a field goal. This is the strategy. This is the philosophy. For all the things the Chiefs do well, the worst thing they are is just, hey, hopefully one of my receivers can win on the outside, which is weird because historically, you need that to win Super Bowls. But, football strategy changes over time. When teams get good at one thing, then you got to try and get good at something else. That's kind of what the Chiefs have done. Of course, Mahomes can then scramble in these situations. They still could win. Worthy has made some plays in this postseason on those situations. So no guarantee that you can win there, but that's really what you want. So my running tally of this, on a scale of 1 to 5, I'm going to go +3 Chiefs here for this video for Andy Reid, because I just feel like they they do this so effectively, and Mahomes is so efficient at these types of plays. They're not going to have too many obvious passing situations, and that's really what you want as a play caller. I mean, at the end of the day, the players still have to make the plays to some degree, but you want to just make it as easy as possible for them to not have to be in bad situations as common as possible. The reason why I'm not going more than 3 is simply just because I do think the Eagles could stop some of this stuff. They do have a good run defense. That could help. Like, if they could shut down the run, that would make a big difference in this game. It really would. We don't think about the Chiefs as, oh, you got to stop the run, but that actually might be a big deal. If you can do that, then it means that Zach Bond can, protect over the middle, and I'll make a video at some point about Zach Bond, because he definitely will have a huge role in this Super Bowl. But as of right now, that's kind of where I'm at. Where are you at? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.